guys, welcome to my channel. So today I had the idea to do recipes from magazines because I don't know about you guys, but every time I go to the grocery store and I'm in line waiting, I pick up a new food magazine and then I literally don't cook a single recipe from the magazines just because nowadays you can find everything online, and to be honest, a lot of these magazines have ingredients that I just don't usually have on hand, so it's just not things that would be easy for me to cook. But I decided to, finally try it out. I'm also just really curious to see if these magazines are really just worth it, because the food always looks really pretty in the pictures, but what will it look like in real life, and will it actually taste good? So we will see. I have my groceries right here, and to be honest, they were a lot more expensive than I thought they would be because I didn't really need as much as I thought I would. I just needed some core items for the recipes, but it came up to so much. It was like $60. But I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys which recipes that I chose, and I am gonna switch them up just a little bit just because I didn't want to buy one thing that I'll just use once and then waste that money. So I am swapping some things, but for the most part I'm following the recipes to a T. So we'll just have to see how they turn out, and I'm really hoping they turn out good. The recipes do seem really promising, and I'm excited for two out of the three. So what I'm gonna do for the recipes is that today I'm gonna cook breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I'm gonna have a snack. And I've been trying to cut back a bit on my snacking because I've been going a little overboard with it. So for my snack, I'm just gonna do some iced tea. But they have a really good iced tea recipe in here, so I'm really excited to try that out. Okay, so these are the three magazines that I have. Two of them are actually healthier magazines. So this one is a 7-day detox magazine, which I don't really believe in detoxes, but I guess when I bought this, I was just really into the pictures because I thought this looked delicious. So I'm actually going to be making two recipes from this magazine. The first one is this iced green tea and cucumber Sepa. Then I'm also going to be making these coconut pancakes with berries and coconut yogurt, and I was able to get everything for these, so these are going to be exactly how they are in the recipe book. But I do think that they're going to be very eggy because it requires like 8 eggs, and even just looking at it, these do look very yellow, so I'm nervous that these are just going to be egg pancakes, but we'll see how they turn out. And then the second magazine I'm going to be cooking a meal from is this Better Homes and Gardens fall recipes. I bought this one a while ago and it's not fall anymore, but I mean, I still want to cook a recipe from it. I'm actually going to be cooking these mustard shallot pork chops, which look actually amazing, so I'm really excited. And it does look like a pretty simple recipe. The last recipe that I'll be making is from Better Homes and Gardens as well. This one is the quick, simple, healthy meals one, and I think what really attracted me to this magazine was this pho, but I've never actually made it, and I've eaten pho after I bought this and I realized I don't really like pho that much, but maybe one day I'll try it, and maybe if I make it myself I'll like it. The recipe I'm going to make from this magazine is going to be ginger pork with cucumber and herbs, and I'm actually going to swap out the pork for beef because I already have ground beef, but it's just going to look like this. It's a bit Asian inspired, and I really love Asian food. So I'm really excited for this, and it looks pretty easy as well. Something's easy to make when it literally only has 2 steps. And I really like how this magazine actually shows you pictures of everything you need. I feel like it makes it a lot easier to do the grocery shopping because you can kind of see what you need already, which is really nice. So I'm going to be cooking recipes from these magazines for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm really excited. I always buy these and never actually cook anything from them, so I'm really excited to try some things out and see if it's actually also worth the cost to buy these. But I feel like all of the recipes look really good, and just reading the ingredients, it looks like they'll taste really good. The only recipe that I'm concerned about is the coconut pancakes, just because they look really eggy, but we'll see how they turn out. I just kind of wanted to take out everything that I was going to be using today. It's not everything. I do have some sauces that are still not in here and stuff like that, but I just wanted to show you guys how much food I'm actually going to be cooking today. Like, I'm not going to be using every single thing in this picture. Like, I'm not going to be using all of these cucumbers, all of these eggs, but I just feel like this is so much. Like, if I was actually planning on making these recipes, like, if I was to cook like this every day, my fridge would be so packed with food. So yeah, I don't think this is really realistic, because who has the money to buy all of this all the time, and who has the space in their fridge to store everything? But we will just see how it goes. And yeah, just wanted to show you guys everything that I'm going to be using today. I have all my ingredients here, everything that I'm going to need, including the toppings. It looks like nothing, which makes me feel a bit sketch, but we'll see how it turns out. And this is the recipe, just in case anyone wants to go ahead and try it out, and this is what it should hopefully look like. I'm gonna third the recipe because I really don't want to make 12 pancakes. I want to just make 4 instead. So I'm gonna third the recipe, and hopefully it still comes out okay. So the batter is done, and I think it looks pretty okay. It's a little bit thin, but it does have a lot of eggs in it, so I'm guessing the eggs are what is gonna hold it together. But I just realized these pancakes don't have any form of sugar, so that makes me a bit like paranoid, because it doesn't even have maple syrup or anything, so I feel like these are gonna be savory. And I'm not a big savory pancake fan, because even the coconut yogurt doesn't have any sugar in it. But we'll see how it turns out. This is the expectation. Lovely golden pancakes with some nice, you know, golden brown crust and some beautiful fresh berries, versus the reality. I feel like these look so sad, especially because most of them are like basically burnt. I think it's because we use coconut oil, and coconut oil heats up really quickly, so it can cause things to burn really quickly, I've realized. And they also said to cook it over medium heat, and I feel like that's too high. They said to cook over medium heat and then wait a minute to flip it, but if I do that, I'd literally have ash on my plate. So yeah, this recipe is not the best. I haven't tried the pancakes yet, but I'll try them and let you guys know how it is. But so far, the instructions are not that great. Okay guys, so it's the moment of truth. Time to try this abomination. Get some of the pancake. Okay, this is terrible. It has no flavor, like not even an inch of flavor. There's basically no flavor in this except a hint of banana. And, you know, throwing on top plain coconut yogurt doesn't really help anything, because that doesn't have flavor either. Also, the texture is just so bad. Like, it feels like I'm chewing on paper. So I think out of all the recipes, this is the only one that's a fail, which is really disappointing because they would have been so good. I honestly can't even finish the pancakes. I tried really hard to at least eat half, and I hate wasting food, but it's just so bad. Like, it's just making my stomach feel sick. So yeah, this recipe is 0 out of 10. I guess a 1, because at least it didn't fail, you know? It still actually made pancakes, but it's just so bad. So I'm just about to get started on the ginger pork or ginger beef, since I will be cooking it with beef. This is the recipe right here. You can kind of see all of the ingredients that you need. My ingredients aren't exactly the same, but they are pretty much the same, so it's going to taste more or less similar. And this is what it's supposed to look like. It looks delicious. It kind of reminds me of an Asian inspired dish, which I think it is. So it should be really good, and it looks really easy to do as well. So I think this is the perfect recipe to kind of make when you don't really want to cook. I just had my rice going here, the water's starting to boil, so I'm going to cover this and then let it simmer, and I'm just going to chop up everything. This time I'm not going to show me chopping up everything because I feel like that makes my videos so long. But if you guys really do like that style of video, just let me know down below and I'll continue to show you chopping up my veggies. I'll be back once my veggies are chopped up to kind of show you how they look and how everything's gonna go together. Okay, so my pork mixture and my cucumber salad are complete. So this is gonna go into the beef and cook with the beef, and then this is gonna top everything. This is also just gonna be sauteed with some of the beef, and yeah, so everything is prepped. I just need to fry up the beef, add in the sauce, and wait for the rice to cook, and then assemble everything, and it will be all done. I'm really excited for this one, but I feel like we need more sauce, but maybe we don't. Maybe that's me just being greedy. Maybe that's me just being greedy and we just don't need more sauce. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'll kind of show you guys the cooking process. Maybe, maybe not. I'll show you guys when it's done. I'm sauteing the garlic and ginger, and once that's about sauteed and looking nice and golden, I'm going to add in the beef, and once the beef looks nice and golden, I'm going to add in the sauce. So a really simple recipe. Honestly foolproof. I feel like you can't really mess this one up. Everything's done. As you can see, the beef got really nice and golden, and everything looks really nice all mixed together. And then also the rice is done. I did add in an onion with some cloves to give it some extra flavor, just because it is conditioned rice and I'm not really that big of a fan. And so here is the final meal. I have the rice underneath, then the beef and the cucumber. I also added a drizzle of lemon because they said to do that as well. They didn't say in the recipe to eat it with lettuce, but I'm just gonna kind of make lettuce boats because I feel like that will taste really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this. I have my lettuce boat all made up. So let's see how this tastes. So it tastes really good. I feel like the most prominent flavor is the ginger, but I love ginger, so I'm not mad about that. I do wish there was a bit more sauce because I feel like since we were cooking it on such a high heat, the sauce kind of evaporated really quickly and there wasn't a lot of like sauce to begin with. So the one thing it is missing is the sauce. But if you maybe doubled up on the sauce, it would be really perfect. On a scale of 1 to 10, I rate this one a 9. I've had better food that's really similar to this, but this tastes really good, and I actually really like it with the lettuce because it adds like a nice little crunch. The one thing I would say is maybe double up on the sauce, and that's the only critique I have. But this recipe I think is my favorite of the day because it's kind of the kind of food I like to eat. I like to eat rice with some kind of meat and then some vegetables as well. So I don't know, I really have been liking Asian inspired food as well. So anything Asian inspired I love, hence the reason I love this. So I really do recommend this one. You can kind of screenshot it in the video if you want to try it out as well. But I do really recommend this one. I'm getting hungry, so I decided it's time to cook the mustard shallot pork chops. So this is the recipe just in case you want to try it out. It's pretty simple and it doesn't seem to have too many steps, so should be really quick and easy. I just have all my ingredients, so the black pepper, salt, oil, wine, and the Dijon mustard, butter, and shallots, and then of course the pork chops as well. And since the recipe did not come with a side, I'm just going to do some roasted vegetables as a side. So I'm going to get those in the oven first and then work on the pork chops. But it should be really simple and delicious, so I'm really excited. Like, look at that picture. It literally looks so delicious. Okay, so I'm just gonna preheat the oven and start chopping my veggies, and I'll show you guys the chopping of the veggies. I'll probably speed it up because, I mean, everyone knows how to chop veggies, so it's not that interesting. But yeah, just gonna get started on that, and then I'll show you guys how I make the pork chops as well. chopped up. I just did some carrot, potato, and onion. I was gonna do some zucchini as well, but then I realized that this cooks a lot faster than these vegetables, so I decided it probably wouldn't be a good mix. So yeah, just gonna do some root vegetables. My veggies are all prepped. I just cut them up, seasoned them with some salt, black pepper, rosemary, and olive oil, and I know they're gonna taste bomb. If you ever want to take your roasted veggies to the next level, just add onion, because when that caramelizes in the oven, it tastes so good, especially with all of this. So you got the sweet from the carrot, the nice creaminess from the potato, and then the tanginess and sweetness from the onion. So it's a really good mixture. Now I'm gonna get started on the pork. I didn't realize that in the recipe it says that it has to chill for 2 hours, but I mean, it's fine. It's not going to make that much of a difference. I'm just going to season it, and then it's been standing at room temperature for about 20 minutes now. So I'm just going to let it stand at room temperature for another 20 minutes, and then we're going to get started cooking it. And I'm just going to prep the shallot, because that's honestly the only thing that actually needs to be prepped, which is amazing. This recipe really requires like absolutely no prepping, which is great. My pork is prepped. I just have to let this sit for another like 10 minutes to get to room temperature. I'm just going to chop up the shallot, which is the only thing that I really need to prep. And then we're gonna sear these beautiful babies in a pan with some vegetable oil. I actually don't really cook with vegetable oil. I prefer olive oil, but the recipe calls for vegetable oil. So we will try it out and see how it goes. The expectation, and here is the reality. I mean, it honestly looks pretty similar. I feel like the only difference is that my pork chops aren't as brown and beautiful looking. They're not as golden because I didn't have a cast iron skillet, but the sauce looks pretty much the same, especially when you add the parsley. It looks almost exactly like the picture. However, I did try the sauce and I'm not a big fan of it, but we'll see how it tastes together with the pork chop and then also with the root vegetables as well. So yeah, so this is the final dish. My root vegetables are done, so I'm just gonna go ahead and plate this up and we'll do the taste test and see how it actually tastes. Here is the dish all plated up. It actually looks really good. Like, I'm really excited to eat this, but I literally feel that from cooking this that I'm covered in a layer of oil. So if I look greasy in the next clip, that's just because I am covered in oil now from cooking this. It's time to try the pork chop, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And let's see. I'm really nervous it's just gonna taste like Dijon mustard because the sauce literally just tastes like Dijon mustard. Also, I didn't cook the pork chop as long as they said to, because I don't know if they just had really big pork chops, but if you cook it for as long as they say, then your pork chops are gonna be really dry, which nobody wants dry pork chops. So yeah, here's the taste test. Okay, so funny enough, even though the sauce tastes 100% like Dijon mustard, you don't taste the Dijon mustard while you're eating it. It literally just tastes like a pork chop. You don't really taste the sauce much at all. So maybe I should add more sauce. So I might go ahead and do that. But it actually tastes pretty good. It's not the best pork chop I've ever had. I'd probably rate this on like a scale of 1 to 10. I'd rate this pork chop about... On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd rate this pork chop a 6. Or a 7. I'll rate this pork chop a 7 because it's good, but honestly the flavor is kind of like bland. there's not much flavor. Maybe if you threw in some other seasoning, so added in some, I don't know, even like Italian seasoning or garlic powder, onion powder, just added in some more seasoning to give it a bit more flavor, I think it would be really good. But right now it's just a 7 because it's still good, but it just is lacking that wow factor, you know? It's good, but not amazing. I'm going to get started making the iced green tea and cucumber Sepa. It just takes some green tea, honey, ice, cucumber juice, lime juice, mint leaves, an English cucumber, and then some apple as well. It should be pretty easy to make, and it should end up looking like this, which looks really good. I have my green tea infusing, and then I'm gonna add in some of the agave because I didn't have honey. Then I have my apple, my mint leaves, and my cucumber. I'm gonna try and blend the cucumbers and use a cheesecloth to make the cucumber juice, just because I really don't know where you buy cucumber juice. I've never seen it in my life. So I'm just gonna make it myself. But yeah, I'm just gonna show you guys some clips of me chopping it up, and I'll do the taste test once it's done. I just finished cutting up my veggies, and these mint leaves smell so good. These are the cucumbers that I'm going to try and make some cucumber juice with, and these are the ones that are going to go in the drink, as well as the apple slices and mint leaves. And I think my tea is just about done infusing, so I'm going to stir in the agave, and yeah, then we'll assemble once everything is cooled and ready to go. Cucumber juice is all done, and I actually feel like I just brewed an evil potion. It was so much fun to actually make this. I thought it was going to be really annoying, but I really enjoyed making this, and I just love how bright green it is. It looks so cool. But yeah, just gonna wait for this to cool because it actually did heat up in the blender, which is interesting. And then my tea still needs some time to cool as well. This one a 6 out of 10. It's not bad. It just mostly just tastes like cucumber juice, which could be my fault. Maybe my cucumbers are just too potent. But yeah, all the fruits and veggies in there and mint leaves don't make a difference at all. Maybe if you let this infuse for a few days, it would be a lot better. But right now, it just tastes like cucumber juice, which isn't terrible, but it's just, I had high hopes for this one. Just not what I expected, but still okay.